Breaking news. Viking Nation, the first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium and echo all the way to Dublin. What's brewing in Minnesota right now isn't just another week of football. It's a collision course with destiny that nobody saw coming, and each shocking development could rewrite the entire narrative of this purple and gold kingdom. A legendary quarterback from Pittsburgh just flipped his allegiance in the most brutal way possible, dropping truth bombs that have Steeler Nation questioning everything they thought they knew about Sunday's showdown in Ireland. But that's just the beginning of this wild ride, because what comes next involves $13 million, career-defining decisions, and a choice that could haunt or honor the Vikings for years to come. Then there's a defensive mastermind ready to unleash hell on Aaron Rodgers, a critical injury that changes the entire defensive equation, and harsh criticism aimed at the future of this franchise that completely ignores the warrior spirit burning inside every Viking. If you think you're ready for what's about to unfold, think again, because these 5 explosive revelations are about to shake the foundation of everything you believe about purple pride. And trust me when I say that each one cuts deeper than the Minnesota winter. The storm is brewing, the battle lines are drawn, and what happens next will either crown this team as conquerors or leave them questioning every decision made in the quest for Valhalla. But hold on, as shocking as that introduction was, the first bombshell is about to explode with the force of 1,000 war horns, and it comes from the most unexpected source imaginable. Picture this scene unfolding just hours before the most anticipated international showdown of the season. Ben Roethlisberger, the man who bled black and gold for 18 seasons, the quarterback who won 2 Super Bowl rings wearing Steeler colors, has just committed the ultimate act of betrayal against his former team by publicly torching their left tackle and flipping his prediction to favor the Vikings. This isn't just analysis, this is a full-scale demolition of Pittsburgh's offensive line confidence, delivered with surgical precision by someone who knows exactly where it hurts most. Ole, ole, Corcuno Takwe and Ningwam, Roethlisberger mocked while discussing Broderick Jones, the struggling left tackle who's been hemorrhaging quarterback pressure all season long. But here's where it gets absolutely devastating for Pittsburgh. Big Ben didn't stop there. He went nuclear by declaring that legendary Steelers linebacker James Harrison would feast on Jones for 15 sacks per game if they faced each other. Can you imagine the psychological warfare happening inside the Steelers locker room right now? Their old franchise legend just handed Vikings defensive coordinator Brian Flores a loaded weapon and the blueprint to destroy their protection scheme. Roethlisberger's exact words cut like a Viking axe. I don't think the line is giving him enough time, and I think it starts with the left tackle, allowing for sacks, the most in the NFL through 3 games. Do you realize what this means for Jonathan Greenard and Dallas Turner when they line up across from Jones on Sunday? Are you starting to understand why even Pittsburgh's greatest quarterback believes the purple invasion is inevitable? The man who once stood as Pittsburgh's fortress has become Minnesota's most valuable intelligence asset. And if you believe in the Vikings more than you despise the Steelers, hit that like button right now to show that purple pride runs deeper than black and gold loyalty. Because when legends start switching sides, you know something supernatural is about to happen in Dublin. And that something is about to be pure Viking domination painted across the Irish countryside. And just when Steeler Nation thought it couldn't get more humiliating, here comes the next revelation that exposes a $13 million decision that could define both franchises for the next decade. This story cuts straight to the heart of what makes championship teams different from pretenders, and it's all about the calculated gamble the Vikings took when they chose their path. At the most crucial position in football, Aaron Rodgers was available, ready to bring his Hall of Fame arm and championship experience to Minneapolis. But the Vikings front office made a choice that sent shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape. They looked at Rodgers' $13 million price tag and decided to bet their future on J.J. McCarthy instead, keeping Carson Wentz as their safety net at a fraction of the cost. Now that same Aaron Rodgers is wearing Pittsburgh black and gold, and Sunday's clash in Dublin becomes the ultimate referendum on whether the Vikings brass possess prophetic vision or committed organizational suicide. Kevin Seifert from ESPN captured the magnitude perfectly. The question the Vikings asked themselves this offseason was whether it would be better to have McCarthy on a rookie contract with a backup like Wentz, whose salary cap hit is $1.2 million this season, or Rodgers at $14.2 million. Can you feel the weight of that decision pressing down on every play call, every snap, every moment when Wentz drops back to pass? This isn't just about money. It's about trust, belief, and the kind of organizational courage that separates championship cultures from teams that talk about winning but never taste it. The Vikings looked at their young quarterback's potential and said, "We believe in purple and gold development over proven veteran insurance." But here's what makes this story absolutely electric. Both teams sit at 2-1 heading into this showdown, which means the winner walks away feeling vindicated while the loser spends the rest of the season wondering what if. Do you think the Vikings made the right choice by investing in their future instead of mortgaging it for immediate gratification? Are you confident that Wentz can outshine Rodgers on the biggest international stage the NFL has to offer? Because if Carson Wentz leads the Vikings to victory over Aaron Rodgers in Dublin, that $13 million decision transforms from questionable gamble to stroke of genius. And every Vikings fan will remember this moment as the day their front office proved that purple vision sees further than anyone else in the league. But trust me, the night is only getting darker, because what comes next involves one of the most respected voices in sports media dropping truth bombs that can either motivate or devastate the Viking defense, depending on how they choose to respond. Stephen A. Smith stepped into the spotlight this week with an analysis so sharp it could cut through the thick Irish fog, and his message to Vikings fans everywhere was crystal clear. Your defense better show up ready for war, because this entire game hinges on whether purple and gold can neutralize what Pittsburgh brings to the table. It's all about the defense, Smith declared on First Take, and then he delivered the kind of breakdown that makes defensive coordinators either smile with confidence or lose sleep with worry. His laser focus landed directly on Carson Wentz, and his challenge was as brutal as it was simple. If Carson Wentz steps onto that field and destroys you, we have a serious problem. But here's where Smith's analysis gets absolutely fascinating for Vikings fans. He recognizes that Brian Flores possesses the defensive genius to exploit every weakness in Pittsburgh's game plan. Smith knows that Rodgers completes 78% of his passes from a clean pocket, but drops to just 27% under pressure. And guess who specializes in bringing biblical storms of pressure? That's right, the same Brian Flores who never should have been allowed to leave Pittsburgh in the first place. Brian Flores knows this, and Brian Flores is going to bring the rain, Smith proclaimed, painting a picture of defensive chaos that would make any Vikings fan's heart race with anticipation. The ESPN personality expects this to be a low-scoring battle where defenses dominate and offenses struggle, which plays directly into Minnesota's strength as a unit that just held Cincinnati to 10 points last week. Do you believe the Vikings defense can rise to meet Smith's challenge and prove they belong among the elite units in the NFL? Can you picture Flores unleashing his exotic blitz packages and watching Aaron Rodgers scramble for his life behind that struggling offensive line? If you think the purple wall is about to make Sunday a nightmare for Pittsburgh's offense, smash that subscribe button to join the thousands of Vikings fans who know that defense wins championships, and this defense is about to announce itself to the world in the most spectacular way possible. Stay with me, because what comes next might just flip the script in ways nobody predicted, and it involves a crucial injury that could either expose the Vikings' depth or showcase the next generation of purple warriors ready to step into the spotlight. The injury report dropped like a hammer this week, and it revealed that Andrew Van Ginkel, one of the most consistent and reliable linebackers in the Vikings' defensive arsenal, has been ruled out for Sunday's Dublin showdown due to a neck injury that has kept him sidelined all week. This isn't just any ordinary injury news. Van Ginkel has been a cornerstone of Minnesota's defensive success, the kind of player who doesn't make headlines but makes every tackle, covers every gap, and provides the steady leadership that championship defenses require. His absence creates a void that would terrify most teams. But here's where the Vikings' depth and development philosophy reveals its true brilliance. With Van Ginkel watching from the sidelines, the spotlight shifts to Dallas Turner, the explosive second-year linebacker who has been waiting for his moment to prove that Minnesota's draft strategy produces game-changing talent at every level. Turner has already shown flashes of the explosive ability that convinced the Vikings to select him 17th overall, and now he gets the opportunity to showcase that raw talent on the biggest international stage possible. This injury also compounds with the continued absence of J.J. McCarthy due to his ankle injury and Donovan Jackson's wrist surgery, creating a perfect storm of adversity that will either break this team's spirit or forge it into championship steel. But here's what makes this storyline absolutely compelling. These are exactly the moments that define organizations and separate contenders from pretenders. Do you think Turner is ready to step up and fill the massive shoes that Van Ginkel leaves behind? Can this Vikings defense maintain its dominant form even when key pieces are missing from the puzzle? The beauty of this situation is that it gives fans a glimpse into the future while testing the present. And if Turner explodes onto the scene against Pittsburgh's struggling offensive line, this injury might actually become a blessing in disguise. That accelerates the development of Minnesota's next offensive star. And listen closely. The final chapter of this week's drama cuts straight to the heart of what it means to be a young quarterback in the most unforgiving league in the world. And it exposes the difference between fair criticism and completely missing the bigger picture. Phil Simms, the former New York Giants quarterback who knows a thing or two about facing adversity in the NFL, decided to take aim at J.J. McCarthy with criticism that completely ignores the mountain of obstacles that the rookie quarterback has had to climb in his first 2 professional starts. Simms didn't hold back when he said, "I'd be worried about J.J. McCarthy. He's just not throwing the ball well when he's on the field, and it seems like unless he can throw with all his might, that's the only chance he has to hit his target." But here's what makes Simms' analysis so frustratingly incomplete. He failed to mention that McCarthy's fiancée gave birth to their son just days before his second start. That star receiver Jordan Addison was suspended. That starting left tackle Christian Darrisaw missed both games. That center Ryan Kelly suffered a concussion in the middle of the second game. And that McCarthy played the entire fourth quarter of his second start on an injured ankle that would eventually sideline him. The young quarterback faced pressure on 40% of his dropbacks, dealt with the least efficient pass blocking line in the entire NFL according to Pro Football Focus, and still managed to engineer a fourth quarter comeback in his very first professional start. Yet somehow Simms expects perfection from a 22-year-old quarterback who was dealing with more adversity than most veterans face in an entire season. Here's the most beautiful part of this story. Phil Simms himself threw for just 37 yards in his first professional start and finished his rookie season with more interceptions than touchdowns. So maybe he should remember what it's like to learn on the job before casting stones at the next generation of quarterbacks. Do you think McCarthy deserves more patience and understanding given everything he's had to overcome? Can you imagine the pressure of trying to establish yourself as an NFL quarterback while dealing with personal milestones, team injuries, and the weight of an entire fanbase's expectations? If you believe that J.J. McCarthy has the warrior spirit to overcome these early challenges and become the franchise quarterback that Vikings fans have been waiting for, show your support by hitting that like button and proving that purple loyalty runs deeper than premature criticism from former players who forgot what it was like to be young, hungry, and fighting for respect in the greatest league on earth. The echoes of these 5 explosive revelations will reverberate through every snap, every blitz, every moment of Sunday's battle in Dublin. Because what we're witnessing isn't just a regular season game between 2-1 teams. This is a collision of narratives, philosophies, and destinies that will define both franchises for years to come. The Vikings stand at a crossroads where every decision made this offseason gets tested under the brightest lights. From their choice to build around J.J. McCarthy instead of Aaron Rodgers, to their faith in Carson Wentz as the bridge quarterback, to their belief that defensive coordinator Brian Flores can exploit every weakness that Pittsburgh brings. Across the Atlantic Ocean, Ben Roethlisberger's stunning betrayal of his former team has handed the Vikings a psychological advantage that money can't buy, while Stephen A. Smith's challenge has set the stage for a defensive performance that could announce Minnesota as a legitimate championship contender. The injury to Andrew Van Ginkel creates an opportunity for Dallas Turner to establish himself as the next great Vikings linebacker, and the unfair criticism of J.J. McCarthy only proves that this organization is building something special with patience, vision, and unwavering belief in their young core. As these Purple Warriors prepare to represent their kingdom on foreign soil, they carry with them not just the hopes of Minnesota, but the weight of proving that their way of building a championship team is superior to quick fixes and veteran shortcuts. This Sunday in Dublin won't just be about winning or losing, it will be about validation, vindication, and the kind of statement victory that legends are built upon. Do you believe the Vikings are ready to silence every doubter and announce themselves as a force that cannot be ignored? Are you prepared to watch Carson Wentz outshine Aaron Rodgers on the biggest international stage? the NFL has to offer, if your purple pride burns brighter than any criticism, any doubt, any obstacle that stands in this team's way, then smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join the thousands of Vikings fans who know that Sunday in Dublin will be remembered as the day the entire football world learned to fear the purple invasion. Because when legends switch sides, when $13 million decisions get tested, and when young warriors rise to meet every challenge, magic happens. And that magic is about to paint the Irish countryside purple and gold forever.